The bright lights of Hollywood hide countless shadows. While many stars achieved fame and glory, their private lives often told a darker story of pressures, scandals, and heartbreak that led to tragic ends. Today, we're uncovering the untold stories of Hollywood legends whose lives were cut short, revealing the shocking truths behind the glitz and glamour. 1. Ross Alexander, a star, crushed by expectations. Ross Alexander was a rising star in 1930s. Hollywood, charming audiences with roles in hits like Captain Blood and A Midsummer Night's Dream. But behind his success, Alexander battled unbearable pain. His wife, actress Aleta Friel, tragically ended her life in 1935, leaving Ross devastated. Adding to his turmoil, Alexander wrestled with his identity in an era of suffocating stigmas. As financial woes mounted and his career began to falter, his despair deepened. On January 2, 1937, at just 29 years old, Ross Alexander took his own life with a gunshot in the barn behind his Los Angeles home. His story remains a haunting reminder of how fame often masks deep personal suffering. 2. James Dean, a rebel frozen in time. When people think of untimely deaths in Hollywood, James Dean is often the first name that comes to mind. The enigmatic star of Rebel Without a Cause embodied the spirit of restless youth, a symbol of rebellion for an entire generation. But Dean's meteoric rise was tragically cut short on September 30, 1955, in a car crash that cemented his status as a cultural icon. At just 24 years old, Dean had already starred in 3 films destined to become classics: East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant. But it wasn't just his acting that captivated audiences. It was the mystique surrounding him. With his tousled hair, brooding gaze, and cigarette perpetually dangling from his lips, James Dean became the blueprint for Hollywood cool. The irony? Dean had a passion for speed and racing, which ultimately led to his demise. Driving his Porsche 550 Spider, nicknamed the Little Bastard, he collided with another car while en route to a race in Salinas, California. His death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a cultural shockwave. Fans mourned the loss of a star who had barely begun to shine, while conspiracy theories about his cursed car only deepened the allure of his legend. James Dean's legacy remains untarnished, with his tragic death serving as a reminder of how fleeting fame and life can be. 3. Heath Ledger, a star taken too soon. From 10 Things I Hate About You to his Oscar-winning role in The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger was a versatile actor who could disappear into any character he played. But behind the scenes, Ledger was a man haunted by the demands of his craft. And it was this very dedication that may have cost him his life. Ledger's portrayal of the Joker in The Dark Knight was nothing short of transformative. He created a villain so chaotic and unsettling that it redefined comic book movies. Yet the physical and emotional toll of embodying such a dark character left Ledger mentally and physically drained. On January 22, 2008, Ledger was found dead in his New York apartment from an accidental overdose of prescription medications. The news sent shockwaves through Hollywood. At just 28, Ledger had reached the pinnacle of his career, but would never see the critical acclaim or box office success of The Dark Knight. His death ignited conversations about mental health in Hollywood, the pressures of fame, and the dangerous mix of overwork and self-medication. Today, Heath Ledger is remembered not just for his talent, but for the void he left behind, a star who burned too brightly, too fast. 4. Marilyn Monroe, the tragic icon. Marilyn Monroe was more than just a Hollywood starlet. She was a cultural phenomenon. With her platinum blonde hair, radiant smile, and an aura of both innocence and sensuality, Monroe captivated the world like no one else. But behind the glamour and the diamonds was a woman struggling with inner demons. Born Norma Jean Mortensen, Monroe's rise to fame was a story of resilience. From a troubled childhood spent in foster care to becoming the face of Hollywood, she epitomized the American dream. Films like Some Like It Hot and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes showcased her comedic timing, while her off-screen romances made her the queen of tabloid headlines. But fame came at a heavy price. Monroe battled depression, anxiety, and substance abuse, all while being scrutinized by the media and manipulated by powerful men in the industry. On August 5, 1962, Monroe was found dead in her Los Angeles home at just 36 years old. The official cause, a probable suicide due to a barbiturate overdose. However, her death sparked decades of speculation. Was it truly suicide? Or was there foul play? Theories involving the Kennedys, Hollywood moguls, and even the CIA have kept the mystery alive, adding layers to Monroe's already complex legacy. Today, Marilyn Monroe remains an icon of beauty, talent, and tragedy, a symbol of how fame can both elevate and destroy. 5. River Phoenix, a talent gone too soon. River Phoenix was destined to be one of the greatest actors of his generation. With his soulful eyes and natural charisma, he had already achieved critical acclaim by the time he was in his early 20s. But his life was tragically cut short in an incident that stunned the entertainment world. Phoenix got his start as a child actor, but his breakout role in Stand By Me showcased his extraordinary talent. By the late 1980s, he was a bona fide star, earning an Oscar nomination for Running on Empty and winning hearts in films like My Own Private Idaho. However, fame brought pressure, and Phoenix struggled to maintain the idealistic image thrust upon him. On Halloween night in 1993, at just 23 years old, Phoenix collapsed outside the Viper Room, a trendy nightclub partially owned by Johnny Depp. He died from a drug overdose, a mix of heroin and cocaine, shocking fans and leaving Hollywood reeling. Rivers' death highlighted the darker side of Hollywood, a place where young stars often fall prey to its excesses. But his work continues to resonate, reminding us of the brilliant career that could have been. 6. Sharon Tate, the starlet lost in a tragic nightmare. Sharon Tate was a rising star in Hollywood, poised for greatness with her luminous beauty and undeniable charm. But her life was cut short in one of the most horrifying crimes in American history, leaving a shadow over her legacy that still lingers today. Born in 1943 in Dallas, Texas, Tate began her career in beauty pageants before transitioning to acting. By the mid-1960s, she was turning heads in films like Valley of the Dolls, which earned her a Golden Globe nomination. With her captivating screen presence, she was on the verge of becoming Hollywood royalty. Her personal life seemed just as charmed. Married to acclaimed director Roman Polanski, the couple epitomized the glamour of the swinging 60s. But everything changed on August 9, 1969. 9 months pregnant, Tate and 4 others were brutally murdered by followers of Charles Manson in her Los Angeles home. The gruesome crime shocked the nation and marked the end of the carefree 1960s. The Manson family murders became one of the most infamous cases in history, and Tate became an eternal symbol of innocence lost. Despite her tragic end, Sharon Tate's legacy endures. In recent years, films like Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood have sought to reclaim her story, reminding audiences of the vibrant, talented woman she was, not just the victim of a heinous crime. 7. Robin Williams, laughter behind the pain. Robin Williams was a comedic powerhouse whose energy and wit brought joy to millions. From Mrs. Doubtfire to Good Will Hunting, his talent knew no bounds. But behind the laughter was a man battling severe depression and the devastating effects of Lewy body dementia. Williams's diagnosis, which was revealed posthumously, explained many of the symptoms he had been experiencing, including anxiety, paranoia, and memory loss. These struggles became overwhelming, and on August 11, 2014, at the age of 63, Williams tragically ended his own life. His passing left the world in mourning, sparking conversations about mental health and the hidden struggles of even the most successful individuals. Williams's legacy is one of laughter and love, a reminder of the light he brought to the world despite his own darkness. 8. Scotty Beckett, from child star to tragedy. Scotty Beckett, a child star known for his role in the Our Gang series, also known as The Little Rascals, had a promising future ahead of him. But child stardom came at a price. The demands of the industry were intense, and like many young actors, Scotty struggled with the transition to adulthood. His life began to unravel as he fell into alcoholism and drug addiction. By the late 1950s, his career had essentially ended, and he found himself living in obscurity. On May 10, 1968, Beckett's life was tragically cut short at the age of 38 due to an overdose. His untimely death marked the end of a promising career, but also served as a sobering reminder of the devastating effects of fame on young minds. Beckett's story is a heartbreaking example of how the pressures of child stardom can create lifelong struggles that often go unseen by the public. 9. Pete Duel. The charismatic star of Alias Smith and Jones, Pete Duell was a star on the rise. With his role as one half of the charismatic duo in Alias Smith and Jones, Duell was poised to become one of the biggest stars of the 1970s. His natural charm and magnetic screen presence made him a fan favorite. But beneath the exterior of his on-screen persona, Duell was fighting personal demons. He struggled with depression, substance abuse, and the pressure to maintain his career. On December 31, 1971, Pete Duell died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound at the age of 31. The news of his death sent shockwaves through Hollywood. His tragic end raised concerns about the mental health of stars under constant public scrutiny. Duell's passing left a void in the television world, and his death continues to be one of Hollywood's greatest what-ifs. What if he had sought help? What if his career had flourished without the shadows of his inner turmoil? 10. Doodles Weaver, A Life of Laughter and Tragedy. Doodles Weaver's comedic brilliance brought laughter to millions of Americans, especially in his collaborations with Spike Jonze and his City Slickers. As a writer, performer, and radio personality, he became a beloved figure in the 1940s and 1950s. But behind the jokes and laughter, Doodles faced serious mental health struggles. By the time he was in his 70s, he was battling depression and anxiety. On January 17, 1983, Weaver ended his life at the age of 71. His death was a reminder that even those who bring joy to others may carry an immense burden of their own. It's a heartbreaking example of how the pressures of public life, combined with personal struggles, can lead to devastating consequences. 11. Stephen Keats, A Talent Gone Too Soon. Stephen Keats had the world at his feet in the 1970s and 1980s. With memorable roles in Death Wish and The Great Gatsby, Keats's potential seemed limitless. But behind the scenes, he was privately struggling. He faced a mix of career dissatisfaction and mental health challenges. The pressures of balancing his professional and personal life took their toll, and Keats grew increasingly withdrawn. On May 8, 1994, Keats was found dead at the age of 49, a victim of suicide. His death left fans and colleagues shocked, as they had no idea just how deep his struggles had been. Keats's story is a tragic reminder that even talented individuals with bright futures can silently suffer and reach a breaking point that no one can predict. 12th. Gig Young, The Fall of an Oscar-winning Legend. Gig Young was one of Hollywood's most respected actors with a career that spanned decades. He won an Academy Award for his role in They Shoot Horses, Don't They? And was known for his smooth demeanor and distinguished presence. But behind the accolades, Young's life was marred by alcoholism and a history of tumultuous relationships. His personal life became increasingly unstable as his addiction to alcohol worsened. On October 19, 1978, in a shocking turn of events, Gig Young fatally shot his fifth wife, then turned the gun on himself in a murder-suicide. He was 64 years old. His tragic end served as a chilling reminder of the dangers of addiction and the destructive impact it can have on even the most successful careers. Gig Young's death left Hollywood reeling, and his decline remains a cautionary tale about the pressures of fame and the hidden battles many stars face. 13. Richard Farnsworth, A Legacy Marked by Pain. Richard Farnsworth's career was a true reflection of his versatility and determination. A man who started his career as a stuntman, Farnsworth rose to prominence in the 1980s and 1990s with roles in The Gray Fox and Misery. With his rugged charm, he was a favorite among audiences. However, behind his cowboy persona lay a man in constant pain. Farnsworth was diagnosed with terminal cancer in 2000, and the disease slowly stole his physical and mental strength. He struggled with the side effects of his treatments, including debilitating pain that no medication could ease. The man who had once ridden horses with ease found himself unable to do even the simplest tasks. On October 6, 2000, Richard Farnsworth took his own life at the age of 80, leaving behind a tragic legacy. His death shocked Hollywood and raised important questions about the mental and emotional toll that chronic illness can have on an individual's mental health, especially in a world where appearing strong is often a requirement. 14. George Reeves, The Mysterious Death of Superman. George Reeves was the man who made Superman a household name, but the man behind the cape and tights faced a tragic end. Best known for his role in the Adventures of Superman TV series, Reeves became an iconic figure of the 1950s. But his success didn't come without a price. The actor was deeply frustrated by being typecast as Superman and wanted to expand his career, but opportunities were scarce. His personal life was equally tumultuous, with rumored affairs, including one with the wife of MGM executive Eddie Mannix. Reeves's life began to unravel as he sank into a deep depression. On June 16, 1959, Reeves was found dead in his home of a gunshot wound. Though the police ruled his death a suicide, many still believe that foul play was involved. Some suspect that his death was connected to the powerful MGM executives who had control over his career, while others believe that his personal life caught up with him in the most tragic way. The mystery of his death has never been fully solved, and the shadow of Superman's tragic fate lingers in the Hollywood lore to this day. 15. Ed Flanders, a doctor's role in a private struggle. Ed Flanders was best known for his role as Dr. Donald Westfall on the groundbreaking TV show St. Elsewhere. His portrayal of a compassionate, flawed doctor won him multiple Emmy nominations, and his acting career seemed to be at its peak. But behind the scenes, Flanders struggled with severe depression, compounded by the pressures of fame and the trauma of past personal losses. On February 22, 1995, Flanders took his own life at the age of 60. His death was a tragic blow to the entertainment community, especially those who admired his honest and empathetic portrayals of complex characters. Flanders' passing highlighted the invisible struggles of many in the industry, struggles that can go unnoticed until it's too late. 16. Todd Armstrong, the hero who faded too soon. Todd Armstrong's role as Jason in the legendary film Jason and the Argonauts was his claim to fame, and he became a fan favorite for his portrayal of the mythical hero. But Armstrong's career stalled after the film, and he found it difficult to secure leading roles in Hollywood. Struggling with personal issues, including health problems, Armstrong's life became increasingly overshadowed by his unfulfilled potential. On November 17, 1992, Armstrong tragically passed away at the age of 55, leaving behind an impressive yet incomplete legacy. His death left fans wondering what might have been if he had been able to navigate the challenges of Hollywood stardom. The legacies of these stars remind us of the fragility of fame and the humanity behind the spotlight. Their stories, though tragic, continue to inspire and provoke reflection on the cost of chasing stardom in a world that often demands too much.